Wilson here to say, hey, you guys need to be involved. I reached out to Miss Lee to say, hey, just get involved. And then at the time, Reverend Clay was transitioning in to come in under the leadership for the church. And so I thought it was a good time with the background that he has in development and the history behind the church. I thought it was be a good opportunity for them to take a look at what plans that they have and meet with you guys to just talk about their plans and how we can work together to see what we can make happen. So I'll turn it over to Brother Wilson, Uncle Wilson. I don't know how to say that, and you can take it from there.
All right, thank you very much, Kevin. First of all, let me just say, Miss Lee and I, we're going to work on the presentation together. I did have a mishap this last Sunday, and it kind of took me out of the loop. So, Miss Lee, if you can go through me with the presentation, because I know we're supposed to go through it together. We're in New Bethel CME Church.
Yeah.
And we're on the corner of Rochester. We're involved in many, many activities in the neighborhood. Our pastor is the great Dr. Weldon Julius Clay, C. Clay, and he has a lot of history with our denomination, and he has a lot of experience in our denomination, and he's really an active member in not only where we're going in this area, but in the whole thrust of our whole denomination. So he's a very diligent and forthright leader in our neighborhood. And Ms. Lee, you can go to the next slide. And of course, I can't forget our great First Lady, our great First Lady.
Yeah,
Mrs.
the next
Reverend.
slide is our mission statement and also our vision statement. Our mission statement, this is what we put together quite a few years ago under the leadership of Reverend Weldon G. Thomas. It says, New Bethel is a Bible-based church that promotes a holistic ministry through spiritual development, biblical stewardship, teaching, and preaching. Our goal is to be a relevant community resource through outreach, collaborating with other faith groups, and exceptional communication using various technologies. And our vision statement is to emphasize holistic care for individuals while developing leaders and reaching people through evangelism as the body of Christ. And number two, develop and maintain partnerships while collaborating with other community resources to obtain additional funding streams and increase the use of technology to provide outreach and ministry while creating a culture of unity locally and globally. So that is our mission and that is our vision. So
I want to
as I
also
don't know if
call it.
all of you know that New Bethel is a historical active church back during yes Reverend Graves days. And in 2018, I believe it was 2018, we became a historical landmark designation. And also on the map that we can be a national historical landmark designation as well. We are a community service provider, and right now we have our membership. A membership is about 350 plus members. At one time, we had over 1,000 members, but because of demise and transitions and all those other things that you know um, we are now about 350 good standing members at New Bethel. We do have yes, it says civil rights during Raymond Graves days. Police accountability movement, I guess a lot of you are familiar with that. Interdenomination meetings and Kodak benefits. We had during that time in that area there was a lot of grievances toward Kodak. So New Bethel was the meeting place for that to resolve that issue. And also, New Bethel is very good in the health community. We have a great health ministry at New Bethel. And we do blood pressure coalition. We have a diabetes prevention program and a neighborhood walking trail, and also involved in the AIDS education.
Ms. Lee, I want to
Yeah.
make sure they got our catchphrase. That's been our catchphrase since 2010. Up at the top.
Oh,
God's,
2000. Oh, our motto. Oh,
yeah, our motto.
our motto.
Our
Yes,
motto.
God's Corner in Rochester, here to help, give, and serve. And that's one of my questions. Are we still gonna be on that corner? So we are able to give, help, and serve right there on the corner of Scio and Lyndhurst. That is one of my questions coming up. How this new change gonna affect our corner here? So you can move to the next slide. Yeah, we talked about the historical designation and that type of thing. You can move. Is there another slide to that, Tony?
Yeah. All right. The
Oh, yeah,
community.
community service provider. Yeah, we have a community food pantry. We recently, during the pandemic, we worked with the food link. We had drop off. We had baskets that people would come and pick up every week. We did a test run on that for 12 weeks, and that was very successful. New Bethel does have a food pantry. Right now, we're trying to replenish and get that started up again because of the pandemic. A lot of people, especially our missionaries, are very hesitant about coming to the church. But we're going to get that started back up again because it's very instrumental in the community that where we are. Yeah, and New Bethel adopted 2 schools. I thought it was number 25. I don't know what the other one. Do you know the other one,
Well,
Tony?
we work with 14, and actually we work with a couple of charter schools. The adoption of 2 schools is not limited. We work with 14, of course.
Yeah,
Done
very active with School 25.
25, yeah.
Um,
And
we
we
adopted 2, but
also,
very active with 25. Providing school supplies. We have Vacation Bible School for the community, and those even that are not in the community are welcome to come. We do ministerial community outreach to jail, to women's shelters, and etc. So New Bethel is very instrumental in that area where we are, and we just want to know how this new development is going to affect us. We want to be able to continue and improve from this. So that was one of my questions. Are we going to be able to stay on that corner, and how this new development is going to affect us with the streets replanting and that type of thing? Okay, so we can move on. Any questions on that?
okay.
Any questions?
So I want to emphasize too that, like the families that we have, some of them are local, some of them are in the suburbs, some of them are, I think 1 or 2 even come from another county, but they are, we are a community-based church. So we do the whole community, and we're specific, and our members are specifically dedicated to the Market View Heights area. And and also its connection, or Reverend Clay can speak to how our ministry helps, in this region too, because we are a regional church. And Reverend Clay, I don't know if you can speak a little bit to that.
Yes, I think they're looking at it right now, where it says connectional ministry. Does everyone see that?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
we have CME Church in Buffalo and Syracuse, and we have some other churches in New York. I built a church and 115 units of housing in Harlem a few years ago, a $45 million project or building. Goldman Sachs financed it. We did a joint venture as it relates to that. The church got some money, retail, housing, et cetera. And then, but we extend all of New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Virginia, Washington, DC, and all of the Carolinas. Our church goes all the way through there. So we have a very connectional ministry.
And of course, we do the live stream, as I think the person from Bergmann mentioned this one.
Yes, he said he got on briefly today.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
So we've been doing it now, this version, for over a year now. In fact, it will be a year next week, Reverend Clay.
Right,
Yes.
March, yeah, this month.
This month has been a year. And so so that's our live stream, and everybody's welcome to watch, of course, and get a little uplift. Right. And you can go into the next screen.
www.newbethelcmechurch.org.
There you go.
Mhm.
All right. I want to emphasize the second part of our vision statement. And Reverend Clay and I we went to some meetings at City Hall. And in order to do the work we do need to develop and maintain partnerships. And we need other revenue streams. So we would like to know if at all we can have some tangible in even property, I don't know how else to say it, from this new development or new land, that we can have some parts so we can gain some revenue. Reverend Clay, could you say it more decoratively than I did?
Can I push in? Can I push in for a second here?
Yeah.
Push it, Michael, push it.
All right. So y'all don't know me, but I think
We're
we're
learning.
new best friends. I think we're new best friends, and we're gonna be so for quite some time. So so Reverend Pastor Clay, I am so happy to hear that you have already have the development experience, and I am so happy to hear that y'all already want to do some development, because I was going to ask you to do some development.
The Lord is still on the throne.
So I was waiting. I'm like, well, now, how do I get where I want to go? How do I say? Okay, we already there. And so, quick story. There is this restaurant in DC, Saints Paradise. The food is wonderful. They got a cafeteria. I joke that anytime I go there, my name is Baby, because everybody's name is Baby. The brothers cook in the back and the sisters run the front, and the food is fabulous. So it's in this neighborhood by the convention center in DC. And over the last couple of years, I've been going, you can just see the neighborhood gentrifying and changing, and I'm just gonna say them pushing the black folks out and the new residents moving in, except around Saints Paradise. So I asked just random person on the street one day when I was there, I'm going, well, I'm not being funny. How come there's still black people in this neighborhood? And they said, oh, real simple. The church bought the land and did the development, and that's why we're here. So all of that to say, First Genesis is doing some development over in the Northeast. I'm totally supportive of that. There's the new Veterans Center across the street that I'm looking at. Totally supportive of that. There's a new development going up CDS Monarch on the corner of Clifford and Joseph. I'm totally in favor of that. And so when I meet with developers, the way the conversation goes, they usually start with, we want to do 75 units. And I'm going, yeah, 75 units don't do nothing. Why not 200 units? And we go back and forth, and we ended up with like 164 units over on Clifford. All of that to say, we have a tremendous need for quality, affordable housing, so much so that when it is built, it is filled virtually immediately. This moat was built and designed to separate this community. We're going to fill it in and bring this community together. And I'm so happy to hear that the church, your church in particular, wants to lead that charge and do that development. So all of that to say, do you know Carol Wheeler? Have you been talking to Carol Wheeler? If not, send me a text. I'll make sure I write the email today.
Great.
Yeah.
Great.
So
go ahead, Tony.
Yeah, Reverend Clay knows more than I do, but go ahead, Reverend Clay.
Well, I'm just glad to hear Michael Patterson say what he just said, because we're willing to do it. We can do it. Michael, I'm going to send you what we did there in Harlem.
That's
so you can
yes,
see
sir.
that.
Yes, sir. Please.
It's an awesome building, and on the inside of the building is a brand new church at no cost. At no cost. In fact, everything is at no cost for the church. So this is the new paradigm for building all over the country. Very few people now are building standalone.
Right.
And most people now are collaborating. Very few people now, whether it's a bank, whether it's a grocery store, whether it's a church, no matter what it is, nobody's doing standalone anymore. It costs you less, your utilities are less, your insurance is less, your taxes are less. So the name, I don't want to call it a game, but the name of it is collaboration, collaboration, collaboration.
Can I
So
ask you a question?
we're willing to, who is Carol Wheeler now? Who is she?
Carol Wheeler is basically our development angel. I refer to my mnemonic for remembering her name, because I'm getting a little older here, and sometimes I have to have a hard time pulling names up, is Grace Under Fire. This is just a solid sister. She's been in the community forever. She worked for the city of Rochester. She's fabulous.
Set that up for us, Michael. And
Yes, sir.
I want you to be in the meeting.
Oh, absolutely.
And
absolutely.
I want to sit down, and I've been wanting to do this for the last 2 years, but we haven't been able to accomplish it or achieve it.
Well,
So,
brother,
this is Eveline. We went to the very first meeting when they initiated the plan for faith-based churches to come in and create or develop or renovate projects. Empty, there was a lot of empty buildings. And they wanted, and that's how First Genesis and Stein here. That's how all of them came into the works. But at that time, Reverend Thomas was sick, and he wasn't able to really do what we could do to really get that going at the time. So we kind of a late start here with Reverend Clay coming in. But
ma'am, y'all ain't late. Y'all ain't late. Y'all all right. Y'all ain't late. Y'all okay. Y'all all right.
Reverend Clay, can I ask this question of you? The building that you guys did in Harlem, was it a mixed-use building? Was it primarily focused on low income? What type of building? Was it market-based building?
Yes, it was mixed-use development, and it was I think it was 70-30, market and affordable as well, 70-30.
And that's what you're looking at. That's what you're looking at trying to replicate here.
That's what I want to do.
Oh yeah.
That's what I would like to do, because
we do not want all the poor people, and God bless
it.
and we love poor people.
Well, we want some upscale property, some upscale available apartments in the building too, not just affordable.
Yeah, now mine were condos. All of them were condos, affordable condos, as well as market value. I mean, they are very nice. Of course, they go up. Some of them at the top of the building, it's upwards of $1 million. But
I'm asking that to say the footprint then to do a building like that has to be a pretty big size footprint. Then is that correct?
For the size we did, yes. But
and
there's more than enough footprint with the loop to do with the right kind of vision. There's more than enough for everybody to share in it.
We had a market study done that's helping guide our process, and they identified that there'll be more land available than the development demand would be. So there should be ample opportunity to do quality development, and then still have some green space that the community can benefit from. And I think the Interloop East project has some type of balance like that, like 35% to 65% market rate. You might not know that, but all that new housing down there, there's a balance to that housing.
Okay, yeah.
I'm sorry, what is your name? Your name is Mark, right?
Yes.
Do you have the plan for that? Do you have a layout or
for what we're thinking for Interloop North?
Yeah.
We're just getting started with that.
Okay.
We've been in the fact-finding range, and COVID slowed us down, and we just this month, with the input we've received to date, started to come up with a range of alternatives that we wanted to test.
Yeah.
And at some point that'll be available to share. It's just in its infancy right now. So we've got.
Yeah, I noticed that.
And I just want to interject. Sorry, I'm sorry, but I think that's why we're all here is to help to inform that what that possibility of what that plan, what the design looks like. So I think that's why we're all here. So that's why you got the command to say, hey, this is what we feel and this is what we're going with.
Yeah,
No,
you can go to the next slide, by the way.
Who is Sean? Sean.
Sean must just came
Yes,
on.
yes,
He's on
Yeah,
hands.
yes, sir. We met earlier. Sorry, I'm with my grandkids right now.
That's
We
okay.
we met
Sean,
in
you
your
got
office.
grandkids?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Cal, you look like a grandkid.
You
I
look
was
like
gonna
a
say,
kid.
right?
No, Sean looks like a kid.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, so we did meet Pastor. We did.
Okay,
With
all right.
Suzanne and myself.
All right.
All right. you
Looking
can see-
forward to seeing you again.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please continue. I'm going back to washing hands.
All right.
Just
And
a quick question before we get back to the slide. It looked like I was looking at some of the supporting documents. You met with the World of Inquiry. Did they ask for the soccer fields yet?
Yes, they have, Michael.
All right.
Michael, we definitely have that for you to look at as well, so I'll send that.
All right.
Well, no. The reason why I ask is that my kids graduated from World of Inquiry, and I was on the committee when they were talking about closing the building or revitalizing the building. We're like, yeah, revitalize it. One of the arguments for getting rid of the building actually and selling it off was, well, it doesn't have space for ball fields or any of that. And our argument then was, well, we don't care. If we wanted ball fields, we would have our kids go somewhere else. I imagine, so all of those parents are gone and been gone. I'm sure the current parents would like, since soccer is like the really big thing at World of Inquiry, I am sure that they want some ball fields. So as I'm sitting here, plenty of room for a ball field and everything else. So
Okay,
I just wanted to make
we
sure
have
that
an
that's in the
opinion
loop.
about that.
And
too.
Councilman Patterson, we did. Councilman Patterson, Suzanne and I did sit down with Pepin, of school modernization, to see because that school is already done. But we said if they did advise us if we can lobby for more, they can do more in expansion and do stuff at 58 school.
Well, so here's the deal. There's state dollars for those ball fields after they do the infill. And by the time we get to the infill and get done, they'll have plenty of money to do ball fields. So that's going to be easy.
We do have an opinion about that too. Let me just go to the next slide right here. Start with it. The city of Rochester has its plan for what's going on, and there are, and you can see the Market View Heights area. But New Bethel, we are developing and have had a vision for what we want in our area too. So we have our own, not our own plan. We do have our own plan, but we do want to work in partnership with the city and the other agencies around there to develop our vision. And one does encompass working with with World of Inquiry and working with the others, but we do not want to be and remember, we don't want to be blindsided, I guess is a good way of saying it. When that great building across the street was built for the Veterans Outreach, we were going through a little tough time at our church, changing pastor. Our other pastor was passing away and he was sick for quite a while. And I don't think we were in the loop. I don't know if he was or not. Reverend Thomas, Reverend.
Michael can see that
didn't
building.
get to that step.
All right, so I just wanted to show that, and you can go to the next slide. We are looking at, we are aware of the city plan. And you can see that chart. That chart shows you how much, that Market View Heights chart, how much properties are not single-use properties in our area. You can see that, the Market View Heights area has many more multi-use buildings than, some single-use or smaller buildings in our area would be welcome. We don't want to limit it to that, but we want a more equitable distribution of, if you see that, you see the chart in that area. We want a sort of equitable, some single-use, some multi-use, but not overwhelmingly rammed with lower income people or people who need the area, because we should be distributing more across community. Reverend Clay, would you want to say more about that? No,
I think you did a very good job of saying it, and I agree with you wholeheartedly. They can see the criteria that you kind of named it. They may want to respond to either what you said or what they're looking at.
So
Somebody
Well-
may want to.
I don't think we need, I'm going to interrupt though. This is really not so much as response as it is to make sure that everybody hears what you want. The
Okay.
response is because we know we're on a limited time schedule, and I think that the conversation is starting, and that's really what we wanted to accomplish here today. And then because we have Lewis Street also with their opinions as well. And we want to make sure that Bergmann hears all of these things, and then as they're generating their ideas, we'll have more of this included in whatever they're doing. And then we hope that you'll have these side conversations now, and we can continue to discuss if that's okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
going back
Well,
directly to the school now. Ms. Lee, do you have any input right now?
Oh, when we talk about trees and green space, we want to know how much space can we be allotted for green space? And in terms of the school, you're talking about soccer fields, how close is that going to be to the church? We're thinking about the noise and that type of thing. So we need to concentrate on that. You know, how much from that Lyndhurst Street, where we are, that side, we already have trees there. Hopefully you will leave them there and then expand that with some green space. So we're not right at the school and hearing all the noise when they're playing and that type of thing and having games. As Tony got here, we don't want any concrete walls though, leave those. We want to feel like we're in the neighborhood.
Amen.
If I can just toss a couple of things, and I know this ain't the meeting for it, but so one of the challenges with everything that I hope you guys might be able to help with, and we can talk about it later, is helping folks make the transition from being renters to owners in the neighborhoods that they live in. For me, one of my biggest fears, quite frankly, is that this neighborhood will gentrify and in no time flat. With the investments we've made in the public market, with the investment that's going to be coming in on the interloop, I can just see, I could just see folks just get pushed out of here real fast. The only way you avoid that is if you own the neighborhood you live in.
Can I just insert when you say
Yes,
helping
ma'am.
people? There's a program for first-time homeowners, right? There's several programs.
Well, ma'am, I was going to get to that because yes, ma'am. There's an organization that I helped attract to Rochester called NACA. Their specialty are turning low-income renters into homeowners at a level that's affordable for them. And their offices are literally on East Main in the old ABC building. So they're that close to you.
Well,
so
I think that's something that maybe New Bethel can do, because
okay.
Church of Love is doing something like that right now.
Okay.
That we can start a program to help first-time homeowners. I'm a good example. I owned a home for over 30 years.
Right.
Downsized, didn't like it. I didn't like renting.
Right.
So I went through the first-time home buyers, because after 3 years of renting, I could be a first-time home buyer. I said, oh, fantastic. So I am a true example of that. I can, be very instrumental in helping to get that started if we want to do something like that at New Bethel.
Sounds cool.
Okay. And again,
And I'm sorry, and your email, the email on the church website is the email I should be writing the email to?
Yes, you can do that. Yes, absolutely.
All right. Okay, I'm doing it as you talk. I'm sorry.
Michael, can we also talk about what you just got through talking about with Mrs.
Yes,
Lee?
sir.
When we sit down with the city, that can be a side talk, I'm not sure. But I like that. If a person, I always tell people, if you can pay rent, you can pay a note, a mortgage. And sometimes the mortgage, the rent, it costs more than the mortgage.
In Rochester, for most low-income renters in the city, rent is significantly higher than your mortgage.
That's what I just said. I just got through saying.
Right. So yeah, that's 100% here. So if you can pay $1,000 a month for rent, your mortgages
pay
are
a
going to be
mortgage.
$1,000.
Mortgage
Yeah,
is not
your
gonna
mortgage
be
ain't going to be $1,000.
Right.
Right.
And you're going to have more space.
The most important, the most critical thing is credit. So that's something that needs to be worked on in the
Yep.
community.
NACA does a very good job of that, and that's why. And I'm writing emails as
Okay.
we talk.
Okay.
Michael, can you send it to us too, please?
Oh yeah, sure.
So what's the name of it, Michael?
NACA. It's NACA.com.
Oh,
It's
I might
run.
have seen that some.
Yep, it's run by a gentleman by the name of Bruce Marks, who refers to himself as a nonviolent bank terrorist. He's got, and basically he was roughing the banks up so bad they were like, well, if you think it's so easy, you do it. So they do the underwriting for Bank of America. And you know, they're writing mortgages in Rochester. They're doing a good job.
Super.
And you don't, you know, even though my big push is the city in the Northeast, you don't have to stay in the city. You don't have to stay in the Northeast. So as a church that has a reach beyond the city of Rochester, this is just an opportunity. This is just an opportunity actually nationwide, because they pretty much write everywhere. It's a national organization.
Okay.
Right, and
Sounds
and-
good.
Can I ask a question? Mark, you're with the, can you let me know again who you represent again, Mark?
Okay, so
McEnany?
I'm a principal at Bergmann Associates, and we're the consultant firm that the city of Rochester hired to lead the Interloop North study.
Okay, so you're not a developer, you're a consultant.
We're
engineering
consultants,
firm.
we're running the planning process with all the community outreach initiatives, and we will, with all the input, we'll develop ideas and test them for feasibility. And we have other members on our team that are advising us on development potential, the realities of that corridor and what the market likely will want to have happen there.
Mark, is your priority is filling in the Interloop North as a roadway?
I can't really have a priority. I'm supposed to be looking at all the
Your
alternatives.
charges.
Well, there'll be an alternative where that doesn't happen, I would think. That's not what I want.
Sure. No,
But-
sorry, yes.
But we will be testing solutions to bring Interloop at grade
At grade.
at different levels of connectivity to 490.
So Mark, no component of your organization is a developer. Or do you bring money to the project, or are you just advising?
We're advising.
That's what I want to know. Okay, yours is at advising. Okay.
Technical acumen, helping set the plan, and also leading a very robust community outreach to try to get the input.
Okay.
It's been tough with COVID, but we've been
Can I-
reaching out.
Mark, can I
Are
ask
you
the
the
question?
same company that, Mark, are you the same company that was on Winton Road for many years?
No, we've been downtown since the firm was founded. We're in Tower 280 right now.
Right.
Okay, because that was
me
a Bergmann on
personally,
Winton Road.
I personally manage, I've been doing City of Rochester projects my entire career, 37, going on 38 years. And
Okay.
we did Art Walk, 2 phases of Art Walk on University Avenue.
Yeah.
So those are projects I manage.
Bergmann is probably one of the biggest engineering firms in our area, probably the biggest, right? Next to C.F. Brown. C.F. Brown is we can't get a name.
Bergmann, Labella and Bergmann are probably the 2 biggest.
Labella, yeah.
So I'd like to ask this question. This is for you, Mark. As it stands right now, with all the input you're getting, I know you have a lot of other agencies that's involved in the community. For instance, Lewis Street, probably Market View Heights, and a few other ones. When do you see you having this? When are you charged with having this report ready and to present to the city so it can move forward?
I would think, I think we'll present our analysis of our ideas probably end of May, June, and it won't be here it is, it's final. That will be when we unroll the ideas to get another round of input from everyone.
Can we just see the last 2 slides and then we can move on?
I'm sorry, just a second. I'll be right there. I was trying to do something here.
Yeah, no problem. The last two prize has a
So
basic. Mhm.
along with that, May of this year, you're going to have this all together. Do you think you have enough time that you heard back or require more information from these other groups like the church and then the other agencies?
Yeah, we're doing it in a parallel fashion. We will be continuing committee and public outreach.
No, it just comes out.
Oh, let's see. Do you want a fork? Or you don't like the way it looks now?
We are here, you know, and this information here, we've heard a lot of this type of input from other agencies already. You know, the wanting to know what the future development is and the gentrification and opportunities for the right type of housing for the community. Eliminating the concrete and creating green space and looking at some type of athletic fields up at the school.
Are you anticipating any, I know Tony wants to really come on and move this along. Are you anticipating any gentrification in this project?
No, I think that's how you do land use policy, is to avoid that.
Right. Well, I just want to hear you say it. That's all.
Yeah, that would be our goal. And I think
because from what I understand, that's not what happened before.
Well,
So
I
just want to hear you say.
There's quite a bit of lower income housing opportunities on Interloop East. There's a very high percentage of the development. I don't know if that's been advertised as well as, so there might be a perception of gentrification there, but I know the city did a thoughtful plan of having a good mix of market rate and subsidized housing opportunities. But maybe there's more to be done. Maybe that wasn't sufficient and
Okay.
they're gonna have to look harder.
I think Tony wants to move on.
No, the only thing that, no, the only last two, because I know we got like 15 more minutes according to this. The last two things is, and we're not anti-stadium, let's make sure, but we are concerned, like Ms. Lee said earlier, about the noise and the, and make sure that we are, you know, we need, every neighborhood need young people in it, but we do want to have some consideration for, you know, for being a residential neighborhood and not too much into no big stadiums or overuses of land. The last criteria, I guess we can move on to questions. Anybody got any questions about these?
No, just a comment. I'm pretty sure that once the thing's filled in and they're looking at siting the ball fields, that they'll be able to site the ball fields close enough to the school where it won't have a negative impact. But the same thing is, I don't know if you've ever rolled around most of the school district locations where they have significant size fields. As a general rule, they're deserted and empty 98% of the time.
Yeah, oh, there, I see East High School. East High School.
You know, like, right. I mean,
like Douglas is not filled all the time.
Right. You know, it's like, you know, I mean, you can have tractor pulls at Douglas. I don't think anybody knows.
I think,
but,
though,
you know,
we've gotten a lot of input from the neighbors, and they are all interested in having community fields that would be shared by the community and not just a stadium type thing, but would be more like what you would see at East Rochester or something like that, but not with this. We haven't heard anything about the stadiums. So
I was just going to say, as a general rule, the school district doesn't do stadiums. I mean, right up the street, Freddie Thomas is probably a pretty close example of what you would be looking at. Maybe some better playground equipment. You know, that's about. I couldn't imagine them doing much more than that. I mean, you know, they're going to do a soccer field,
and just
a couple of basketball courts. It's not going to be
just like. Yeah.
Sean, go ahead, Sean.
Piggybacking off of that, and just what Suzanne was saying, what they were saying, that community connection, and I can understand where the church might be like, this large sort of stadium, but what the community, the folks who live there were looking at were things like a walking track so they can get some exercise, walk their dogs, be engaged, that sort of feel, not a major stadium like a Silver Stadium or anything like that. More like Monroe, the new build that they did at Monroe.
Yeah,
And that's usually what school district does. They'll put a track around. They'll probably put a track around the soccer field. I mean, I think if you look at like Edison, you look at East, you won't have the raised. I just can't imagine them doing any raised bleacher thing too heavy, other than just the standard rollout bleachers that they do. But and all of that stuff tends to be pretty accessible all day, all year. So I mean, the only difference I really see is Freddie Thomas, which is really kind of locked down. But literally across the street, you've got Gant Center. So it's kind of like, it's not as accessible as it could be, but you got the accessibility across the street with a city recreation facility.
For a lot of, I'm sorry, go ahead,
I'm
Mark.
just going to say, your voice is being heard, your comment, your concern about the noise and having it done correctly so that all this works well for everyone. That I'll take that to the team next week. So
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Sawyer Street travels over the loop, right over the bridge, right? And you're going to demolish all that inner loop. What are you doing for Sawyer Street? How is that going to be connected? Is that a part of the new plan, the new street plan?
Yeah, it'll be, the ideas that we have, some of the ideas would keep things grade separated. That's not the goal, but those ideas will still be there for comparison purposes. But we're envisioning it would be an at-grade street system with an intersection.
Okay, so
and whether
your
that's
plan is to go from Union Street to the river. So are there going to be new streets? I'm just concerned about the accessibility to the church.
Oh, yeah.
It's so accessible right now. How this new plan is going to be able to just easily get to the church and leave the church and back and forth. So I just want to don't forget that we are still on the corner.
Yeah.
Okay. I know that was before there was a lot of buildings and a lot of churches demolished, it's torn, and people had to scatter and go to other places. But I just want to remain that connection right there on the corner.
I'm gonna take Michael Patterson in this coming Sunday, so that way we'll be able to keep everything like you're saying, Mrs. Lee. He will be a member of my
church.
That is a big concern there. The transportation plan on how that's going to work.
Well, I think we'll have something that's very sensitive and will improve accessibility in all modes, not just vehicular, but bicycle, pedestrian, ADA accessibility, creating better walkability for the community. And we recognize the church as a resource to be protected. We're not going to sever you from it.
Suzanne, could you put that last page up? I want to show the contact information for our church. The very last page.
Do you want us to put it in chat, sir? If we put it in chat, people will then have a copy of that when we send it out.
Yep, you can just put it in chat. I just want to give the information for, that's, like I said, our pastor is Reverend Dr. Julius Clay. First Lady is Miss Denise Clay, Dr. Denise Clay, of course. And that information, our phone number and website and email is right there.
I already got an email from Michael, so I got it, Michael.
Okay. All right. I told you I was going to write the email now. I wrote the email now.
Okay.
I see. Suzanne, I see Mary Lupian.
Yes, Mary Lupian joined us. She seems to be gone. Maybe she left. I'm sorry.
No, I think she's still here.
Yeah, sorry. Mary is also represents part of the Grove Place neighborhood, and also she is interested in what's going on as well. She's part of the city council, and
she is.
Right, and so we are trying to invite our city council who are in this particular area, know it. So that's what I got.
Sorry, I was a couple minutes late and didn't want to jump in, but thanks for letting me listen in.
Could we hear you're on the city council, Mary?
Yes.
Is that right?
I represent
Okay.
the East District. So
Maria.
I'm just on the other side of North Goodman.
So you know Michael?
I do.
Yeah, we met.
We're acquainted.
So I
We-
think, sorry, I think.
We may
one-
need your help.
Right. One of the things that we're trying to do in these meetings is try to bring people together that see we haven't been listened to before, things like that. And that's what Hinge Neighbors, our intention was. And Michael, we talked about this to you a long time ago. That's where we wanted to do. I think this is so successful, whether we agree with everything that you're saying or not. It's just that we're starting this conversation. I think that's really exciting. So I wanted to make sure that we're going to ask, I think Marion and Michael, you're both invited to come to the Lewis Street presentation. And so I would want to know if Dr. Clay, Miss Evelyn, Miss Lee, and Mr. Wilson, would you like to be involved in this as well? We can send you invitations to join that. So that you can hear what they're saying as well. And I think that we start these conversations going further.
Yeah, we
Sounds
definitely.
good. At least we can hear what their wishes
Sure.
are
Right.
compared to our wishes, and then
Right. And
become less.
right. And I'll send you the presentation for the school as well, so that you'll have that as well.
Sure.
So just a quick thing before you go. Suzanne and Sean, originally you guys were talking about doing a meeting on the bridge, outreach to the neighborhood, and getting some larger neighborhood input on this. I understand COVID set us back, but I was hoping that Bergmann would be working with you to get that to happen sometime, obviously sometime June, July, when we're a little bit more open for
meeting together.
We have some
My concern is,
we do have.
I'm sorry, say it again.
We do have plans. We have a plan of underneath the Scioto Street Bridge. Sean will talk maybe a little bit about that, but we're trying to channel for them with Lewis Street input and getting Lewis Street neighborhood involved. And what would that be? How does it do? So we have a city approval to put these panels up, and they would be with glow in the dark paint. So at night it would be easy and safer to walk under the bridge. So that's one thing that we could actually have you involved with as well. We do hope to have something on the bridge. We've been waiting for COVID. I'm sorry for me. We're waiting for something like this to happen. In the meantime, we'll be having meetings on what do we think, how should this look like in the future as far as land use, and we'll be talking more and more about land use as well while we're waiting for this fill-in to happen. We need to be ready to go about what is land use, because that's after all what's important once you've got the thing filled in. We believe in bringing people together. So over the bridge, we've talked with School 58. They're interested in doing something as well. They have a whole 7th grade that would like to be involved with bringing neighborhoods together. And I think that would be something exciting. We've thought about putting larger planters on either side of the bridge to be planted. So we'll get back to you with some of those things. Should we bring that to you, Tony?
Yeah, no, everything sounds great. I would definitely participate in that. And I want to personally invite everybody to our fish fry on Good Friday. Okay.
I'll be there.
All right.
Good.
So I wanted to thank you all for joining, and Mark for your Sunday. All of you coming in and
Thank you.
Kevin especially for helping to happen. So we will continue this conversation. Hopefully, so you'll be excited about that. And Sean, maybe you have something else to say.
Oh, no, I just want to say thank you. I'm sorry I wasn't here face to face. Once again, I was doing the grandparent shuffle. And I thank you all for your input. I think this is a great way, as Michael and everyone has mentioned, this collaboratory method of working together to build a new Rochester. And I think we're going to have something that's going to be out of the park and amazing for the city of Rochester. And I thank you all for convening in this meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.
See you
Sean,
all.
I think I
Thank
have
you.
seen
Thank
you
you.
before, now that I've seen you.
Yes, yes, we have. Met, Reverend. Thank you. Have a great Sunday. Enjoy it. Be blessed. It's sunny out here.
All
Okay.
right. Bye-bye, everybody.
Take it easy, bye.
All right.
Bye. Bye.
Ciao.
Good to see you, Tony.
All right, good to be seeing you, Rep.